Hello everyone! Today I wanted to try and make some cozy interior that you can add to your builds. We're gonna utilize a lot of new blocks from the 1.17 update, but nonetheless, let's just jump into the video. As you can see here, we have a few rooms that I'm showcasing, and that's just to kind of give a perspective of what I'm trying to do in the final part of the video, where I'm gonna build an actual interior for our house. So starting out, we have the basement room here, and it's a bit of an odd one because it's not usually something you think of as cozy, and in this case, it's a little bit cozy in my opinion. So obviously we have the unlit candles here, and if you actually decide to light them up, it becomes more cozy, right? We have the glowberries to kind of help out. We have some potted azalea here, and even some stuff hanging from the roof here. And I think just that by itself adds so much to the room. The lanterns, we have a little bit of a wall here with some note blocks. They're not really gonna be able to play any music, I'm pretty sure, but you know, they're here for the aesthetics, and I think it really helps out. With some crates, we have the desk here that was popularized by Scar, I'm pretty sure. And you know, I just love this kind of stuff. So before we head into room number 2, I just want to show you this wall right here. And wow. As you can see, it's like a mix of the azalea, and then we have the ferns in the pots, and they're kind of like doing a chain on each other, like all the way down. And then we have the glowberries in the background to kind of help out, make the transition less clustered, and have like a background for it, so it looks a little bit better. But I think that that worked out really well, and it's a nice transition to the next room. Okay, so you have like a broad picture here of how I tried to make the second room. It's more like a greenhouse on the at least like an indoor greenhouse, right? And we have the potted ferns like hanging from the ceiling with some chains, for example. We have the flowering azalea here in the middle. It's kind of like a centerpiece. You can play around with that as well if you want to have something like that in your build. Then we have the grandfather clock, and that's just to kind of add some more coziness by adding some furniture to a room like this. And you know, just the greenish blue color here for the oxidized cover is just amazing in such a room like this, because it does give that feeling of it being like a little bit overgrown and you know, oxidized. And then over here we have the beehive, and it's just standing on some scaffolding here. You could have a centerpiece with like a flower, and then you could add bees to it, but I think it also works really well as like a crate. And just having it like on a table like this or something, just elevating it helps a lot. You can obviously have it on the floor as I did in the previous room, but it's obviously not needed. And in this case, it just kind of looks like you can pull it out or something. And I really like it. So besides that, we obviously have the roof a little bit changed here. The leaves kind of let some light shine through, and then we have the back area here with tinted glass to just kind of represent a greenhouse effect. And then obviously just add some shelves. We have some tables. All right, so this is room 3, and it could be like a living room slash library. And basically the reason I'm saying that is because we have the couch here, and then we have some space for some books, right? And then we also added a desk over here with a painting above and some very well hidden buttons around it to just add a little bit of depth to the wall that's otherwise a little bit boring. As you can see over here by the library, we have a lectern. Just kind of placing a book on it kind of helps. You could do that here, for example, but it just kind of looks like a place you'd like maybe find a chair, sit here, and then read if you want to do that. And then we obviously use the looms as well as an empty bookshelf, and that works out really great as well. Another thing I'm doing here is also something you may have seen over here, and the diamond all the way at the beginning. What I'm basically doing is I'm using invisible item frames. You can have a data pack that actually allows this. I know Zombie Cleo from Hermitcraft uses them through the Armor Stand book. And another way you can get it is just use a command to basically get an item frame, which is invisible when you place it down. So just keep that in mind. It has to be cheated in, and that's why it won't really work in survival if you don't intend on cheating using commands, right? We have a pretty small kitchen here, and I just want to emphasize at first, it doesn't have to be this small. You can easily, I even encourage you guys to make a bigger kitchen because it's such a social place, at least in my house, that you stay and you make some food, you talk with your friends if you have some over. It's a pretty social area, and therefore I think it's a really cozy place, or at least it can be, right? So in this case, I just used the car side for the kitchen island as some kind of marble, right? And then we have the copper blocks here, just making it look mighty fantastic with the stovetop, and then we have some lightning rods to kind of, I don't know, just help piece everything together. And as you can see here, the glowing item frames are actually really cool because I think they kind of look like lamps, right? And then you have like a surface down here you can chop on once it's lit up by the item frames here. And I think that's a really cool look. If you just take a gander again. Okay, I also wanted to do another thing. So a few days ago, we managed to hit 100 subscribers on the channel, and that's a big milestone for me. It took me a while to kind of get into the groove of making videos, but it's definitely working out right now. I'm so thankful for you guys liking and subscribing when watching my videos. It's a really cool experience for me. So I wanted to celebrate that, and there's no other way to do it than utilize my favorite new, oh god, and utilizing one of the coolest features of 1.17, basically putting a candle on a cake. So there you go. We have the candle here. I had to cheat a little bit because if I try and break this one, it just kind of disappears. But as you can see, the candle is lit now, and once again, I just want to say thank you so much. But yeah, let's move on to the final room. So just before we actually enter, I wanted to show a little bit of a transition here. So as you can see, we have a little bit of greenery up there. We have some paintings and a little bit of a different wall to the otherwise aesthetic we had before with just the wooden walls. And I think that adds a lot to like a build or the coziness of it if you just like add some sitting areas and some greenery like this. So welcome to the bedroom. As you can see, it's a bit of an open room in comparison to the other ones. They were a little bit more clustered together, and it was partly because I wanted to actually keep in focus the background here, because I did make like 3 giant windows, as you can see. And obviously I'm not having Optifine on right now, but if you have Optifine, the windows will look much better as well, and you'll be able to see the background really well. Of course, a lot of people probably don't play with Optifine, but just in case you haven't heard of it before, I really recommend using that. It's really good. So as we drop down here, you can kind of see how we have a couch, we have the elevated bed here, and I think that's super cool. Just adding a little bit of elevation in some rooms can really change everything. And I mean, just look at this. We have a little bit of a bookshelf down here. You can put your favorite books in there, and then you can read them in bed, right? So apart from it being a little bit open, I think that could take away some coziness from a room. And I think adding stuff like carpet could help battle that if you want to have like a background like this, for example, viewable. We also have some furniture like the wardrobe, and we have some shelves over here. And it just adds together beautifully, in my opinion. And then we end up having a room like this. So I guess the only thing we really need is just a bunch of cats and some blankets, and I think we actually have a pretty good recipe to make something really cozy. Alright, let's go to the building. So as you can see right here, we have a house that is currently not decorated inside. So let's start out with the basement. This is the entrance room of the basement, and I just thought about adding a little bit of a table or just placing anything down that would just kind of fit there. thematically, with it being kind of a workshop. And as you can see here later, we'll also have a middle room dedicated just to having a few tables that you can work on and have some notes on, for example. I'd like to mention the combination of lightning rods and glowing item frames for kind of lighting up the work surface here. The last room in the basement is going to be some kind of storage, and basically I just kind of tried to do some storage crates with the added textures like glowberries and the chains with the potted azalea in it, and I think that turned out really well. So as you can see here in the final video, we'll get a short glimpse of that. Alright, moving on to the kitchen. We have the same kind of style kitchen as in the previous part of the video, but it's actually raised up, and I think that adds something pretty unique to it, even though we don't actually have the ability to place in a kitchen island. I still think it looks really cool and cozy in a way, and obviously the oxidized copper is also a different texture to kind of add in because of the blue washed out color, but I think it worked out really well. Alright, moving on to the entrance interior. I tried to make a little bit of coziness by adding a small living room with the clock, and as you can see here, I think it worked out pretty well. Other than that, the entrance also just have a few armor stands to kind of mimic a place to put your clothes, for example, and the painting. Alright, up the stairs, we get into the main kind of like garden room that I wanted to make, and it's kind of like in the middle. It's the centerpiece of the house, I would say. And as you can see, I also added the azalea in the middle just to kind of add some kind of centerpiece to the house, and I think that worked out really well. So moving up, we get to the bedroom, and as you can see here, it's a pretty small room, but I think I made it work pretty well, considering the few tips I came up with from the previous part of the video. And we ended up making a little bit of a closet, and then we of course had the elevated bed. Okay, so I don't really have much more to say, but thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for the support lately. It's been pretty cool to watch the channel grow, and I'm looking forward to making future videos. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching.